नमस्कार दोस्तों, वेलकम टू बीइंग मैजिकल।
Could the ideals of a 17th century philosopher hold the keys to navigating the complexities of today's world? Consider the principles of John Locke, the Enlightenment thinker whose ideas continue to shape our understanding of democracy, human rights, and the nature of knowledge itself. John Locke's first principle, empiricism, centers on the idea that knowledge comes from experience and observation. This principle rings true in a world where empirical evidence and scientific inquiry drive informed decisions, from mitigating climate change to addressing public health crises. Empiricism empowers us to resist manipulation by regimes that control information and spread misinformation. Next, Locke's principle of natural rights posits that each individual possesses inherent rights to life, liberty, and property. This idea forms the bedrock of movements advocating for civil liberties, privacy rights, and environmental justice, all of which strive to ensure governments' respect for fundamental human rights. Locke's social contract theory emphasizes the reciprocal relationship between citizens and their government. Individuals can fortify this relationship by participating in democratic processes, holding governments accountable, and advocating for justice, equality, and the rule of law. This principle resonates in the work of civil society organizations and grassroots movements. Locke's principle of limited government argues for a system of checks and balances to prevent the concentration of power. Today, this principle is reflected in constitutional provisions such as term limits for elected officials and judicial review of legislation, which help keep governmental authority in check. The right to revolution, another of Locke's principles, empowers individuals to challenge oppressive regimes through peaceful protest, civil disobedience, and non-violent resistance. This principle finds life in movements like the Arab Spring and the Velvet Revolution in Czechoslovakia. Locke's principle of toleration calls for the acceptance of diversity and respect for minority rights. In today's world, this principle is vital in preventing discrimination, sectarianism, and extremism, fostering inclusive societies resilient to authoritarian ideologies. The separation of powers, another principle from Locke, advocates for independent institutions such as the judiciary, legislature, and media. This principle guards against executive overreach and protects democratic norms and institutions. Locke's principle of the consent of the governed stipulates that governments derive their legitimacy from the consent of the people. Upholding this principle involves holding free and fair elections, protecting voting rights, and combating electoral fraud. Finally, Locke's principle of individual autonomy empowers individuals to exercise their rights, express their opinions, and pursue their interests freely. This principle echoes in the concept of personal empowerment and freedom of expression. In conclusion, John Locke's principles hold a mirror to the modern world, reflecting the enduring relevance of his ideas. From empiricism to individual autonomy, these principles guide us in safeguarding against totalitarianism and fostering a society rooted in freedom, equality, and justice. As we navigate the complexities of the modern world, the wisdom of a 17th century philosopher continues to light our path.